we found high levels of contamination both on site where the material is being processed and in the immediate environments around there. This consisted of a whole range of organic chemicals as well as many heavy metals. In fact, these were some of the most contaminated samples that have been through our laboratory in the last few years. In both India and China we found very similar processes, some minor differences, but essentially the ways the materials were being reprocessed was very similar. And not surprisingly, we found very similar levels of pollution and the type of pollutants. And heavy metals like lead, cadmium and mercury, both within the work environment and in the immediate environments around. And also the similar sort of organic chemicals, the brominated flame retardants and the like, in the environments around these places. The only difference really between India and China was in India the workshops tend to be more enclosed within buildings, whereas in China many of the operations were in the open. Many of these chemicals are very toxic, some at extremely low levels, and people working in these environments can breathe in dusts or through contamination onto food and things like that can actually ingest these chemicals. Some of the other organic chemicals present are very persistent in the environment. They can accumulate in human bodies and also have a range of toxic effects. Metals like lead and mercury are particularly toxic to the nervous system, primarily on the developing nervous system in children, and effects have been seen even at low levels, things like affecting the IQ of children. Heavy metals like cadmium are toxic to the kidneys, and the effects will accumulate over time with ongoing exposures. The organic chemicals we found, many of them are bioaccumulative. They will build up in human tissues, and many have been linked with effects on the hormone system and other neurological impacts. Once they're in the environment, they do break down very slowly, and it would be extremely difficult to actually start remediating a whole area. And in both China and India, these are residential areas, a lot of the areas where the work is going on. And really, the way to stop it is to stop it at the production side. The reason these chemicals are being exposing workers and also the environment is because they're being put into the products in the first place. It's possible to substitute them, and if they weren't in the products, they wouldn't be then released upon the recycling of the materials.